Let's talk a little bit about the things that did kind of divert you from music initially. I
Okay.
understand the two events was the obvious passing of your dad that probably really set you down from music for a little while. I know it would for me.
Yeah.
If my dad was an artist and he passed away, I would want nothing to do with the business he was in
Yeah.
for a little while. But really, the big event was 9/11 that kind of pushed you in a different direction. Talk about
100%.
kind of the hiatus from music and why those things became more important, obviously, than music.
Well, again, I wanted to kind of cut my own path and do me,
Yeah,
and not be the son of Johnny Paycheck, and be John Paycheck, who is his own person, his own man, right? And that's important to us in our in life and culture and everything else, right? Being your own man. So when 9/11 happened, I had thought a long time about joining the military anyway, and it was kind of like it was this catalyst calling moment where I was like, okay, this is what I need to do. But I needed to line some things up, and I was already in IT. I was working for IBM and doing all that stuff, and I wasn't happy with that anyway. So I was
yeah.
like, this makes sense. This is where I need to go. And I was angry. I was so angry at that time that we had been attacked, and just the lives lost and everything else. And I I had to do something. So it was taking a while to figure out what and how I was going to go into the military, and I ended up going to the fire service first, and that wasn't an easy. I gotta fly in here. That wasn't easy either, but the fire service was, man, just so great, and I loved being a firefighter. But I didn't stay there because the ultimate goal for me was honestly to get into the army. And when I started going to the army, I did enlist first, but then I decided because my dad told me, he's like, if you ever join, because he was in the Navy and he wasn't successful at that.
Yeah.
So he told me, he's like, if you're going to go into the service, be an officer. And that's the one piece of advice he had for me. He's like, be an officer. I'm like, okay. So that's what I was going to do. So I ended up going back to college to get my degree
Yep.
just so I could become an officer in the Army.
Right.
And so it took a little while to finally get in as far as what my full time career was going to be. But it was because of 9/11. That's why I went over. And then once I got in, I started out as an intelligence officer, and then I moved over to aviation. So I had two MOSs. I was a
Yeah.
intel officer, and I became an aviator, and then I went back to intel, which is what I am now as a reservist. So I did that, and then it was all about, okay, how are we getting to combat? How are we gonna go over? And within aviation, I had the opportunity with as an assault helicopter unit, and I had the opportunity with Task Force Odin, which was a fixed wing C-12 aircraft with a bunch of sensors and
Mm-hmm.
stuff to help with identifying bad guys and helping out
So
special
UAV
forces.
essentially.
Don't you start with me. Better than a UAV. Way better than a UAV. And those guys in the UAVs were over in Fort Hood,
I
just sitting
know.
and
Yeah.
chilling, doing their
Doing
thing. We were
nothing.
in. We
Yeah.
were actually in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
But anyway, no.
Yeah. How
The
about
good
this?
thing,
A UAV on steroids. That's what it
it
is.
was the original.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
the C-12 guys were the ones that originally were carrying sensors and doing all that stuff during the Cold
Sure.
War before we had UAVs. And
Right.
UAVs are an important part of what every military has now. So that there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you still need you still I think right now we still
Look,
need
I
humans.
wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't give you a little bit of shit somewhere along the way, John. You know what I mean?
I love it, but you still need them humans in the mix pretty good now.
Yes,
Now I
I
will say
agree.
I think aviators. This is I know kind of off topic here, but I think aviators are a dying breed
I agree.
in the military, especially because the weaponry
Well,
systems and
everything's
platforms
automated now, and
it's getting
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.